9 movies, 45 years, and millions of Lego bricks later, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is almost here to bring it all together on your favorite video game console. Here to tell me more is Jonathan Smith, head of production at TT Games. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan.
It's a huge pleasure. Great to see you. Thank you.
So you've been with Lego and Star Wars for so long. I cannot wait for this game. This is the culmination of so many different aspects of the Star Wars and video games and toys coming together. One of the things that I really love about what we've seen so far about this game is that combat seems to be on a completely different level than we've seen before. It appears there's a lot of refinements, especially specifically to the lightsaber fighting. Can you tell me a little bit about how combat's evolved in the new Lego Star Wars game?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everything is new. We've had the opportunity to build this game thinking what would be great now. Forget about the past. Let's take advantage of every element of skill and piece of technology we can bring to bear to make the ultimate Lego Star Wars game now. And when we look at those movies, there's a lot of fighting. And there's a lot of cool fighting. So the first question we asked ourselves was how to make combat more exciting, more intense, feel more personal than you've ever had it in any Lego Star Wars game previously. And for the lightsaber characters, it's really important that we've moved the camera to put you closer to the characters so you really feel the intense impact of every blow. We've also added a combo system, new counter moves, and a new mechanism for boss encounters, big lightsaber duels that really get you right up to the enemy.
I really, really love that because these are, it's a very difficult sort of balance to find a way to make these games feel intense and personal, but also kind of fun and toyetic. So it's really, really cool to see that approach taken specifically to the lightsaber stuff. I mean, every single person who loves Star Wars loves it for different reasons, but I think everyone agrees that lightsaber fights are one of the coolest things in the history of film. So seeing that in a game with a little bit more playability and control is really, really cool. Now, this is obviously like built from the structure of, so much of what your team has done in the past with the Lego Star Wars games. But there are a lot of the original aspects of these games, the complete saga, the Lego Star Wars games that I grew up playing. How are these levels brought in to the new game, to the new engine? Like, what is the sort of level of bringing those things back into the current form now, or are you building them completely from scratch this time around?
It's all new. We started
Oh
again.
man.
Of course, we have the memory, that feeling. As you say, we played those games for hundreds, thousands of hours now. So we know what a Lego Star Wars game feels like. But we built everything afresh because we've learned so much over more than a decade of making these Lego games. There were new things we wanted to try and a bigger canvas than we've ever had before with all 9 movies. So while we remember those great levels from the previous games, everything here started from a blank sheet of paper and looking carefully at the movies and asking the question, what would be the best way to bring this action to life?
One of the things I saw from the trailers is it seems like there's even more sort of rideable vehicles. I guess we could call them. I don't know if we want to call a Tauntaun or a Dewback a vehicle, but I guess that theoretically they are, right? And we've seen AT walkers. Yeah.
You don't need a license to jump on board them, so no, it's absolutely fine. The creatures, the ride-ons, the big ships, the small vehicles from the single trooper aerial platforms in Theed from Episode 1 through the land speeder in Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, and the Jundland Wastes in Episode 4. We've got hundreds of different ways to get across the big environments that you'll find yourself in this game. You talked about the levels from that original game, and we do have action set pieces, choreographed moments of high intensity action and chases in this game. But a lot of what you'll do in your pursuit of the story and beyond is to explore open planetary environments and spaces within spaceships that we built entirely out of Lego. So there are all kinds of ways to traverse all these different spaces that we have in Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga.
Let's talk about co-op, because co-op has always been one of my favorite elements of these games. I've seen co-op in the Lego games evolve throughout the years between single screen and split screen, and then we've had the thing that's sort of like the kind of clockwork camera angles and stuff like that. How are these levels or these areas scaled for two players? Because I love to play these games co-op, and they've always scaled well for sort of people of all ages. So what was done this time around to sort of advance that?
It's been a critical part of every Lego game we've done right from the very start, although we have approached it in different ways. But having people play together, and I think in particular with a Lego game, having people of different ages play together, be it older and younger siblings, but in particular, parents and children has been something we've been able to really focus on and have again with Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. So the whole game is playable in co-op. You'll pick up as different characters. It will work with a straight split screen. The dynamic split screen that you're talking about was
Hmm.
something that we experimented with for a while, but we've gone to a fixed split screen now for this game. And the areas that you'll explore are generally quite large. There are set piece duels and highlight showcase choreographed sections which bring the players very closely together. But also, there are quite large spaces, like the whole of Coruscant, or large cities on Tatooine or Theed Palace, another large environment where you'll be able to split up and explore and discover all the secrets that the game has to offer off the beaten track.
So how does that work for sort of like the legacy features, stuff like the True Jedi collecting enough studs in each level? Is that stuff coming back, or have you kind of looked at that and kind of flipped it over on that end too?
So the reasons for having many of those old features that we had, the reasons for having depth of collectibles and rewards for playing the games increasingly skillfully, rewards for experimentation, that the incentive remains the same, but we have
Hmm.
freshened up our approach. And I think we're very closely this time immersed in the Star Wars universe. So we don't have gold bricks, but we do have shimmering, attractive, secret, hidden kyber bricks that you'll be able to collect across the whole game, both through progression with the story and also off the beaten track, in the hubs, in out of the way places, by completing challenges and side quests and extra bonus missions. You asked about True Jedi. Yeah, similarly, we're going to encourage people to replay the levels and get extra rewards, but now through setting them specific challenges that they can undertake, as well as having, yeah, we do still have mini kits exactly as we had them before, so you can collect those because collecting and then unlocking more vehicles for you to play with, more spaceships for you to fly with, and more characters for you to control and take around through these wonderful spaces is still core to what we're trying to offer here.
We got a glimpse at what looked to me like a galaxy map of sorts in the recent one of the recent trailers, which makes it seem like players will be able to hop from planet to planet. Obviously, in the original trilogy game, we had the kind of the Cantina hub linking everything together. Tell me what this is all about. The galaxy map looks so cool.
I think everything you were imagining, was in our imagination when we thought of being able to travel across the Lego Star Wars galaxy to bring that entire space to life. So we've got 23 planets, and you can, through the galaxy map, fly from one to the other, land on that planet in one of 28 different landing zones. And the story will take you in a progression from planet to planet, from location to location. There'll be gameplay on the planets in the open hub areas and then through levels as well. And that takes you, as well as on the planets, through space. So there is gameplay out in outer space, beyond the planets. There are all kinds of missions that you'll undertake in the local space environments as you skip around. Again, pursuing the story, you can choose whichever of the sagas you want to start, be it episode 1, episode 4, or episode 7, and unlock new story that way. Or you can choose, as you unlock new planets and new spaces, to go back and explore in free play to take control of different ships and characters. There's so much for you to discover in Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. And yeah, the galaxy map and the data pad that supports it is going to be a central repository of information and tools to help you get the most out of discovering that huge space, our biggest ever game.
Yes, that's my response. Is I'm just very happy about that. Okay, so I'm gonna get in a little bit more detailed here. The Lego games for me, one of the coolest things about them is they've recaptured that sort of feeling that I have collecting Star Wars toys, right? Like there are just tons and tons of different minifigs and characters and ships and stuff that you can unlock. This is for pretty much every Lego game you've made. There's been a deep roster, whether it's Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones, characters that are in the back corners end up playable in these games. Star Wars, especially for what you guys are taking on, which is 9 films, has some of the probably the biggest roster of anything in history. How did you attempt to get as many characters as you could in there? How did that process work?
I mean, always, because we love, like you, these characters, these stories, these worlds. There's a huge amount of passion and love that means we want to put them all in our own hands and in the hands of players. And we've got an incredibly talented and hardworking team who have been working now for years with scrupulous and incredible attention to detail to really get the most out of the characters that are available. And there are hundreds of characters available. Now, we have to balance in some of those discussions the exuberance of a team who really would like to create every single individual that's ever been seen on celluloid in any Star Wars movie ever, with the sort of practicality and a player's sense of, look, there's a point where I have to finish the game. And there's a point also where we want to make sure that these characters are meaningfully differentiated from each other. But that has enabled us to go within the scope of this, our biggest ever game, really deep. I mean, even as we've been split up now for a while, working from home primarily, I think I was able to sense the disturbance in the Force as though a million voices had cried out in delight at the moment we confirmed that we did actually have Yaddle playable in the game. And the design piece, such as the intensity of feeling from amongst the team when we had that approved, that I could sense it all the way from home. We've got fan favourites from previous games as well. Of course, the Gonk droid, the G&K Power droid is an important, iconic character in any Lego Star Wars game, and we'll go even further than that.
This game is stunning. Like it's gorgeous. I didn't expect anything less, but it seems like it's really taking advantage of the power under the hood of the new consoles and PC and stuff like that. Tell me how this game came together visually, because I know you're trying to strike that balance between something that looks like a shiny little piece of plastic toy, but then also something that's epic and grandiose and gorgeous.
I mean, it's simply the incredible work and talent of hundreds of people for a very, very long time, starting at a foundation with some of our amazing technology specialists and engineers creating new rendering systems that really make everything look better than it's ever looked in a Lego game. This was the right time for us to go back to Star Wars with the power of next generation consoles as well, and really give you vistas and effects that we've never been able to do before. But building on that then is the work not only of the character modelers who have sweated, again, every detail of bringing these figures to life, every seam. There's new effects now weathering the characters dynamically so that the sand that they walk through actually appears on the physical models. And then the skill of all the artists and all the effects that go on top of that to make it all fit together and seem of a place. So you're in a Lego world, and yeah, it looks spectacular and it gleams where it should, but it also feels still Lego. The things that are made out of plastic bricks still have that connection that you have as someone who's picked these bricks up and played with them yourself. They still have the same meaning. It's a feat of technology, aesthetics, skill, creativity, and just hard work.
Jonathan, thank you so much. This is everything I wanted to hear today. This is actual, real, palpable excitement coming from me because I love this series. I love these games and I love Lego, and I'm super excited to see it all come together. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC this April. So for all things Lego Star Wars and video games, stick with IGN. And thank you so much, Jonathan.
It's been a huge pleasure. Thank you very much, Ryan.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So be it, Jedi.